roll call or?
Yeah, just to make sure. Oh, and Erin started the recording. Thank you, Erin. Yeah, we can do a roll call just to make sure that I've got everybody on the record. You want me
Okay.
to read that off?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, just to double check, Daryl Hess. About Matt Johnson. Lindsay Hyduke.
Hello.
Diana Rhodes, are you here? Jesse Doherty.
Hello.
Hello. CB Brady. Okay, Monica Ratliff. Katie Severin. Michael Williams. Oh, can't hear you, Mike. Okay. For the record, Mike is present, but having some microphone difficulties. But you can hear us, right, Mike? Oh, still can't hear you. Okay. Okay, well, that concludes our committee members. I can't remember, do we normally have everyone else introduce themselves or just get to them when we get to them?
I think we get to them when we get to them. That's okay.
Yep.
Great. So we'll go go ahead with the public involvement announcement. Emily, do you want to read the announcement? You're so good.
I would be happy to. I've never actually read this one before. So this is an AMATS committee meeting, which is open to the public, and the public is provided an opportunity to comment at each meeting. Business items are presented by staff or consultants. After the committee discusses the business item, the public is invited to formally comment. Each participant will have 3 minutes to speak on their topic. And a couple of housekeeping items. If you are not a member of the committee, please turn off your camera when you are not speaking on an item. And if you're joining us by phone, to mute and unmute the microphone, press *6.
Great, thank you. All right, we'll go ahead and approve the agenda. Do you want to share your screen or not? No worries on it.
Yes, let me switch my windows around real quick here.
Okay. And we don't have quorum, so do we vote or can I just move ahead if there's no objections?
I think we just have to move ahead regardless, or we could have casual consensus. But yeah, we don't have the ability, or no, we do have, do we have quorum? Let's see. No, we probably don't have quorum. Okay, so yeah, we can just go ahead. But do you all see the agenda anyway?
Yeah, we can see it. Thanks.
Okay. Oh, and here's Diana. Okay, Mike, did you want to try your audio again? No. And Diana, thanks for joining us.
Hello, sorry I'm late.
No worries, we're just getting started.
Okay, well, if there are no objections from the BPAC members, I'll go ahead and move forward with an approved agenda. Any changes or objections? All right. The minutes were also sent from our last meeting and are posted on the website from February. Were there any changes or corrections to the minutes from last meeting? I see a chat. Nope. Okay, Mike's working on his audio. Okay, well, with no changes, are there any objections to approving the minutes? Great. We don't have any action items for this evening, but we do have some general information topics and some project updates. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to our new BPAC coordinator / has many new roles at AMATS. We're excited to see a former BPAC member move into the role as planner at AMATS. So Emily, officially welcome. Thank you. And we're excited to have a lot of new staff over at AMATS supporting the good work going on there. So I think I turn this first item over to you for general information. BPAC open seats and terms.
Yeah, thanks. And it's great to be here. I'm glad I can still attend your meetings. So as you all know, the BPAC took a hiatus for about a year when you all were not meeting due to staffing limitations, which have now been resolved, which is why I'm here. So we had talked about normally committee members serve 3-year terms. That wasn't tracked necessarily when each person joined the committee or when their term was supposed to end, and we were on hiatus for a while. So we've decided that everybody's terms are going to start anew starting this year. So 2025 is now your first year in your current term as a BPAC member. We will now track that so that we remember in 3 years that your term is up. And, if you're sort of one of the designated seats where there's not really another option, we will still ask if you will continue in your seat as a committee member or if someone else from your organization would like to continue that. And then members of the public are really the ones that tend to rotate more. So we do limit those to 3-year terms and then seek new applicants to allow more people to participate. That doesn't mean that any of you are required to fill another 3 years. If you feel like you've done your time and you're ready to hand it over, please just let me know and we will be putting out a call for applications anyway, because we currently have 2 vacant seats. One is the bicycle organization seat that I've formerly filled for Bike Anchorage, and the other one is a business representative seat that has been open for a while, and we're also talking about how to advertise that more. So all of you, I would welcome you to contact anybody you think who might be interested in either of those 2 seats. We haven't put out the call yet, but we are going to be formalizing the application process and getting that out there soon. So anybody who's interested could get in touch with me, and then we can let them know when that's available. So if that sounds good to everybody, that's the plan. I'm happy to discuss further otherwise.
Great, thank you. Are there any questions or comments from committee members? I was just noting that the bylaws are on the website now with AMAT, so great. We'll take a look and get back up to speed on that. Any comments or questions from the public? I know we've got lots of folks who've joined. No? All right, with that, we can move on to the project updates and welcome a Vision Zero working group update. Their 6-month report is also linked on the agenda. And I think I'll probably turn it over to Zach, maybe. Who else might be taking that on?
I can
welcome,
start.
Zach.
I think we're in the fortunate position of having a handful of members of that working group here. My name is Zach Hartman. I work in the municipality's traffic engineering department as the Vision Zero coordinator, as well as the acting traffic signals manager at the moment. And I'm going to be talking a little bit about Vision Zero in Anchorage and some of the recent efforts. So I'm going to share my screen here. Okay. So I'm going to go here to the Vision Zero website to kind of highlight a few of those points. The way I want to start off on Vision Zero is highlighting that it's not new in Anchorage. Vision Zero Anchorage got its birth in the Berkowitz administration in 2018. Mayor Berkowitz, through staff in his office, not even in Public Works, led the way to making Anchorage a Vision Zero city, making that commitment, that goal that zero is the only acceptable number of deaths and serious injuries on Anchorage's roadways. Fortunately, with mayoral turnover and just other priorities, I don't think Vision Zero got the focus in Anchorage that it should. Until recently, a big step was hiring the Vision Zero coordinator. I was the first person to fill that role. I was excited to do that. And a lot of that role was carrying out tasks in the Vision Zero action plan. So here I'm on the Vision Zero website. If you just Google traffic Vision Zero Anchorage, it'll pop right up if you get some combination of those things. So down here at the bottom is kind of some of the history that I'm talking about here with the Anchorage Vision Zero plan that got adopted in 2018. I'm going to pull up the final action plan here. So Anchorage's Vision Zero plan I consider to be quite great, especially as it's its first Vision Zero action plan. It's filled with a dozen pages of fantastic actions focused on making Anchorage a safer place. And then right here on the first page of actions, identify Vision Zero coordinator, full-time or part-time. So we can check that box in Anchorage, fortunately. Recently, this last fall especially, there was a rash of tragic pedestrian deaths in Anchorage. And unfortunately, oftentimes it can be events like that spur more action beyond a single person. So DOT Director Sean Holland brought the municipality and the department together at all sorts of different levels to have a more focused effort. At the same time, the Anchorage Assembly also called upon our two organizations to respond. Their emphasis was on four kind of main key items: improved lighting on Anchorage's roadways, reduced speed limits, increased police enforcement, as well as public safety education, public campaigns on roadway safety topics. So our big group of planners and engineers and maintenance and operations staff, from the commissioner's office at DOT to the mayor's office at the municipality, a big group, including powerful and elected officials have been working hard at this over the last 6 months. I'm going to flash back to the Traffic Vision Zero page, kind of to try and share some of the work we've been doing. There's a couple reports that became Assembly information memorandums. So you can see that on our website as well. Basically just in red text, this is just updating the kind of actions that we've been taking over the past set of months. And we have another one coming up here. Let me go down a little bit so you can see some things in red and in gray that kind of highlight the actions that have been taking place. We have another update coming forth to Assembly to kind of bottle up a lot of the things that have been going on in the background. The reality with a lot of transportation projects is they're slow moving, but there have been some kind of quick wins that have been going on. One of them I think that most drivers have noticed is like the speed feedback carts that are like in the medians on Tudor Road and Muldoon. Through this process of combing through the most recent pedestrian data, Tudor Road and Muldoon Road are the #1 priorities in terms of where the most people are injured or killed on Anchorage's roadways. Those actually have data in them, and there has been a appreciable decrease in speeding on Tudor and Muldoon when those are out there. Whether or not that'll have a permanent effect, I don't think so, but when those are out there, people are driving slower, which is good. Speed limit reduction is going through right now on Elmore Road. most notably in the area around the Native Medical Hospital campus and the university. So right now, I think that's posted at either 40 or 45, and that'll be coming down by at least 5, maybe 10 miles per hour. I'm still working on going through all the data and working with the community on that. Mark Eisenman, who I think might be online here, and Anna Bozen have been doing an incredible job about talking about a lot of these topics at tons of community councils around Anchorage, hearing other people's ideas and getting their opinions on some of the actions we're taking now. One other thing that we're doing at the municipality in our signal shop is retiming some of our intersections at night, along with the lighting that's kind of focused on a lot of the pedestrian fatalities that happen at night. So in key intersections around Anchorage, where we know people are walking and biking around that are high speed, high risk signalized intersections, the signals will just default to being red in every direction at night. It's not just going to be, miles and miles of green lights for people to go really fast on. So it'll be slowing people down. If a car or a pedestrian or a bicycle goes up to the intersection, they'll be served, but it's not just going to default to green. It's defaulting to slowing people down, especially at night. So those are just a few highlights. I'd be happy to talk more. I could go on and on. I've probably gone too long already, but I think I'll turn it back over to Lindsay for now.
Thank you. Thanks for that snapshot. You said there were other working group members. Does anyone part of the working group want to add any color before we go to comments or questions?
I think Zach did a great job. I don't have anything to add.
Thanks. I know I've been trailing you guys at lots of public meetings, but I did ask to have this on the agenda just because to me, it's such an urgent issue, and it really is showing the failures of our whole transportation network, including today when a pedestrian was killed in Midtown. And these collisions keep happening where we know they're going to happen. And so I want to see some of those changes quickly. And so my question for you on the team is just what can we do as committee members, as advocates? What are some of the key actions that we just need some more public support or more public awareness on in order to move them forward and to really make a difference? Are there any actions that are sticking points or should have just some opportunity with a little bit more support?
That's a great question, Lindsay. And I think my sense is, it's unfortunate but natural, but the consensus and energy and empowerment that we felt back in the fall when we had, I think, 6 pedestrian fatalities in a single month, that has waited. And some of the bold actions that we were charting out for ourselves have felt a little bit stagnant. Those ideas aren't as realistic feeling now. So the constant support from the community in all the different ways, including the committee here, I think is important to show leadership and elected officials like, yeah, we're wanting to do some bold things to make real safety changes in Anchorage. And yes, those will come with trade-offs, but this is what we need to do. So being that voice on, maybe a different side than other members of the public, I feel, is a valuable way to support us, show leadership and elected officials that lots of people care about these things and these safety improvements.
Okay.
I will say, I just want to add on to Zach. I think you're right. It's been, I think 6-7 months since we started doing the outreach at the public meetings. And I think we've gotten a lot of great feedback in all those meetings too. It's been great going out and meeting. I think we've done most of core Anchorage too. And, like some of the feedback I hear is, we're not reaching out early enough or educating early enough. We're doing a lot of public outreach, on radio and in public social media, but we don't have any in school safety programs anymore. At least not that I know of. And we've talked to quite a few educators too while we've been out there, and they've been kind of pushing that they would love to see that kind of, whether it's just an officer going in and just some of the basic stuff, like, you walk left right into traffic so you can see what's coming. You ride your bike on the right and, that sort of thing. So I don't know. That's not really something actionable by BPAC, but yeah, I wish I had more more suggestions for you guys, but
Mm-hmm. Well, it sounds like continuing some pressure with or urgency with decision makers. I mean, I put the link for today's pedestrian fatality, and we're already counting up to number 8 pedestrian fatalities in the last 6 months. It's not, unfortunately, slowing down with these smaller changes, so I do want to see some big, bold actions. Any other comments or questions from BPAC members? Comments or questions from the public? Oh, Mike, do you have something? Yeah, go ahead. You're still muted, maybe, or it doesn't work. Yeah, we can't hear you. There is a phone number. You could maybe call in as well. Yeah, might be weird, but it might be better than nothing. Okay, well, Hugh works on that. Any other comments, questions from the public?
If I can add one more thing, Lindsay.
Mhm.
We have been doing, and unfortunately today and earlier this week will be a reason to do another fatality site visit. It's been mostly practitioners to start, and we've been widening that to include elected leaders. But when these fatalities happen, we go out with APD, our partners at DOT, AMAS as well, and we speak with APD on what happened, and we learn about what's going on beyond what we read in the headlines, like you shared. All the extenuating circumstances on behalf of the pedestrian and the driver, to learn about all the little details that played into it. Learning about those things is important to properly, treat and build the infrastructure and build the systems behind our road users. So I'm interested in widening that group. These are really tough things to talk about. They're tough things to see in the news, but when you're standing there on the corner hearing about these people and their families who have been forever changed, it's really visceral. But I think that's needed for the public and transportation practitioners to face these things head on. So the next time we get these things scheduled, I don't know if it's Emily or Lindsay, I can send an invite out to you guys and see if you or membership wants to take part in those fatality site reviews.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd say Emily first, me if you need a CC, but she can definitely get the invite out to BPAC members. And I know that those site visits, maybe the last time around, were really impactful, and we got, we heard back. I know Sarah Prescott's here. She went for Spenard and was able to relay some of the, just real speeding happening. Yeah. Okay, we'll go to Dave Weber.
Hey, thanks. This is Dave Weber. I was at the Northeast Community Council meeting when Vision Zero came by. I think it was Anna and someone else. I don't remember their name, but I thought it was very well done. I appreciated the presentation, and I do notice a couple different changes on Muldoon Road, especially, and I really appreciate that. And I just want to comment and thank Lindsay for the comment on how do we keep up the public support for it? And I do think coming back in another round to councils or the public in general, even a year later, would be very helpful, because I think, like you said, Muldoon, Tudor, very, very high speed roads prone to fatalities. And I just think keeping the cadence going will be important, because at the end of our council meeting, I think we were asked for it was kind of a boilerplate resolution to approve, and it didn't have a lot of meat behind it. It was just support Vision Zero, and I think people felt apprehensive about just supporting a general idea. But I think just keep going at it, and I think it'll hopefully get some helpful results and people continuing to think about it at the local level.
Great. Thank you for that comment and for letting us know that you're seeing some changes in Muldoon. That's great. We'll go to Sarah, and then I think one of these phone numbers will be Mike. So we'll go to Sarah, and then we'll see if we got Mike back. Go ahead, Sarah.
Thanks. Yeah, I just want to thank you all for the work that you're doing. It's really important work. And I think if there's a way for the public to advocate for the work you're doing, I don't know that the public understands what avenues they can take, because I think we need a lot of diverse voices and energies to help with this. Like, I bring the bossy big sister energy, but that is not going to convince everyone. We also need whatever the opposite of bossy big sister energy is. So giving us an opportunity to do that, and I also second the going around to community councils, and having some of those more informational pieces on what actually happens at the site of a crash, I think would be helpful for some people who don't really think about it in that way. So thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Sarah. I know I've talked to folks, and having the information about tinted windows, the driving speed, driver impairment, like there's so many factors that are collected. But the first kind of news stories are always like, was there a crosswalk? It's okay. Mike, are you here on one of these phone lines?
Yes.
Oh, go ahead. We can hear you. Great.
Victory. I had a question about the red light reprogramming, and was wondering, are you going to be collecting data on how that reduces speeds at night, or some measure of the success of that? At least it's slowing down traffic, so that if we get feedback that this doesn't do anything, we can't speak to it. It's a great idea. It sounds fabulous to work to slow down vehicles at night and hopefully reduce these instances. But without some data, I'm just wondering, how do we get out to the public and say, here's the value of this, so that you don't have just all the people who just want to speed through a bunch of green lights saying, you're ruining my nighttime driving.
Yeah, that's a great point. And we have been at those places where we've deployed that kind of late night time. We've been downloading footage that nowadays we can run it through AI video processing, and we can actually see people's speeds as they're moving through the intersection and at those conflict points and crosswalks and things like that. And just anecdotally, we've seen it be positive. Just in like reviewing it. And then the other thing I'll add is that there are studies that already back it up. Institute of Transportation Engineers has a good one. So, we don't have to build our own whole field of Alaska specific research on it. It's been proven to be effective other places, and we're just trying to fine tune it to make it work for the specific infrastructure we have out there. But we're excited about the results. We're excited to keep analyzing the data and putting it out in more places, because we've seen it do good so far.
Perfect. Great,
okay,
thank you. Great, and there's a comment from Jesse in the chat just asking Zach if we can distribute one of the reports, I think maybe one of the crash reports that Anna generates to the BPAC.
Yeah, that is a great idea, Jesse. Jesse's been at a lot of these. And Anna's team at DOT has kind of done like a little debrief report where we're talking about the site visit. So I can share that out so people can get a taste of what we discuss, so that they can get a feeling for if they want to attend next time. Thanks, Jesse.
Great, thank you. And maybe we can link that in our notes, or just include a link on our, by our minutes, so that anyone can see that. Great, any other comments or questions for Zach and his team, the Vision Zero working group, from the public or BPAC members? Diana, please go ahead.
It's not totally related, but it's on the safety issue. Earlier this year, 2 community councils have done resolutions, and I've been part of writing a state grant and a federal grant looking at that Chester Creek Ice Street pathway. And so it's the pathway that goes to downtown on the Chester Creek Trail. This is, I mean, it's solely pedestrians. It is I'll just read exactly where it is. It's on the Chester Creek Trail. It's a pedestrian staircase. It goes up the hill to connect neighborhoods. And it's, you know, a vital north-south link for North Star and South Edition. But if you're on the Chester Creek Trail, you can see it. It's all boarded up. It is, I mean, it's falling apart. It had a study done on it. It's a dangerous structure, the dangerous building codes. 6 foundations have failed. And even if you have one, it's deemed a, you know, a dangerous structure through code. And so it's a weird situation with this particular property. It is it's on state land, but it's actually a municipal facility. And so it's tricky in how you can get it funded. And so I'm just kind of using this opportunity to throw it out there. There are other safety connections like that. I had reached out to DOT and talked to Anna Bozen, and she has like half a dozen other ones. And I think that would be small connectors to help neighborhoods connect, provide more safety. I mean, in its current state, this I Street staircase is a total blight and dangerous. They've starting fires in it. I mean, it's bad. But even to have it demoed, it's several $100,000 for the demo. And then to build something new, you could do something different. But I mean, it's like $1 million. Like, you know, it could be $1 million. So I don't know, thinking more broadly about this kind of cool bicycle and pedestrian connector type safety projects. Maybe it's not 100% Vision Zero, but it is safety related. And just brainstorming maybe tonight how we might bring that forward. I think on the road bond, recent road bonds, they have had some funding for, say, safe routes to schools connections. And then there's been some funding for, I mean, we have our new Complete Streets program, you know, so I don't know if if people have ideas for how some of these projects can get funded in the short and long term. Maybe they're spread out over, you know, one a year, but we have a list that this group could put together and, you know, write a letter of support. I mean, I work for Anchorage Park Foundation, and we applied for a federal grant through Lisa Murkowski, which we did not get because it's kind of like it's state land, but it's municipal, you know, facility. We need some federal dollars. And so that one didn't go that well. And then we applied for a state grant, which we will again as well. But again, it's that tricky business of land ownership. But there's like 6 other ones that Anna Bozen and others have recommended, and it just throw it out there. Is that something this group would like to do? Think about funding these kind of connections or putting them on a list for the future and trying to pick them off one by one.
Ooh,
Maybe
thanks for
Zach
that.
has some ideas.
I unfortunately do not have any ideas on that topic. I have learned everything I know about that issue from you today here, Diana. So I don't have any extra light to shed on that.
Okay, well, it's one of those ongoing things that needs attention, but it needs funding. And there's like 6 other ones. There's one, I'll just read a couple off just so people have them in their mind and maybe think of other locations that they, you know, also know of. But there's Peck Ave off of Muldoon Road, and it's a little connector. You know, it's just neighborhood connectors. East 10th Avenue connection to Friendly Lane. And they're in, existing rights of way. Government Hill area, East Harvard Street to C Street. And then another one, Lore connection pathway, H Street to Ship Creek, a little connector. So there's no end to them, but I would just hope that we could get them on a list somewhere.
Are these trails or specifically like structures like bridges and
these ones? The other one is the first one I was talking about is an actual staircase.
Yeah, I know.
It's a pedestrian staircase. The other ones are just right of way that we could formalize into a path or a trail that connect places.
I don't know if AMATs would have an appetite for some kind of overbroad project. AMATs is all about, it exists to spend federal funding.
Yes, that's what I think too.
So, but Reconnecting Communities grant is another, I don't know what's going on with a lot of the grant sources that came out of IIJA, but would be another potential for something that, but like those federal grants also require a significant non-federal match too, like a lot of times 20%. So just something to consider when you're going after that federal money too.
Yeah, we have talked about that at AMATs recently. Something conceptually similar to the alleyway paving program where you have a list of needs and you can check off a few each year. It does get more complicated if federal funding is involved, especially for places with limited right-of-way. If you're using federal funding, you have to make it ADA compliant, which, depending on the topography, could require taking right-of-way, which realistically is not going to happen for a trail connection project. So it could be better suited to the bond package that the municipality could do without federal funding. But I do think it would at least be helpful to start compiling the list, which, Diana, you've made a great start on. I've also got some on my list. I think we're still sort of fleshing out what the path forward might be from the agency side on that. But yeah, happy to hear any suggestions, or we'll let you know how that goes.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Great. All right, any other comments, questions on Vision Zero? All right, thank you for providing the update. We are, part of the team to help advocate and urge these big, bold changes forward. So I'm looking forward to keep doing that through the BPAC and through all of our different avenues. Thank you. Our next update is Transit on the Move. And I believe we have Stephen Stone and Maria Owens with People Mover, maybe a few others, but those are the two names I recognize. So I'll turn it over to you.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for having us. I'm the transit planner for People Mover, and Maria is our outreach coordinator as well. And we're here to talk to you all about our Transit on the Move, which is our transit development plan and our update that we're doing currently. So for the half of this group that have already heard our spiel, bear with us as we go through it again. So I'm going to share my screen if I can, and just pull something up visually so that you can look at something other than myself. So Transit on the Move is our development plan that was established and updated in 2020. And it had a lot of public involvement in 2019 pre-pandemic, and it's the document that basically tells us as a department for the public transportation department of the city, People Mover, Anchor Rides, and our rideshare services, what we should prioritize and focus on for the future. So since 2020, we have implemented a new Route 85 and transit security and some other projects that were identified and prioritized in that project specifically. So we are updating that list, that project list, and prioritizing it with community involvement. We are in June now, so that's a big hurdle for us. We had a lot of events in May. We will continue to have events through June, July, August, and September, trying to get to as many community councils as possible. Plus, our goal for this outreach is to be where people are and engage with people at events in either community pockets that already exist and are already being established by neighborhoods, or be it large gatherings downtown for that matter. So we will be at probably 20 something more events throughout the summer to gather feedback on what we should prioritize and what is important to the community for us as values that were identified in the 2020 plan. So we're basically asking the public what they value in public transit services. And that could be accessibility, which means where we have routes in what roads in the cities, Eagle River, Chugiak, and Anchorage in the bowl by our urbanized boundary. Accessibility is one kind of main focus. Convenience is the other, and that's basically when we have bus service. How often do buses come by your local bus stops? Is it convenient enough for you to get on the bus as opposed to take your car or bike or walk to wherever you need to go? Reliability is the third option in our survey question. So what should we prioritize as a department? Should it be adding new routes to roads that don't have them to connect different parts of the community? Is it increasing frequency and the amount of trips we have on our current system? Is it reliability, meaning is the system working as it's currently planned and designed and scheduled? Should we focus on that? That is the crux of our survey. It's one major question, and then kind of more descriptions that you could add later on as to why you chose that option for what we should prioritize in our department for all three entities to continue to focus on in the next few years. So we will have a draft of this document by late fall, early winter. Our timeline is we're in phase 3 right now. All summer of this year we'll be at festivals and community celebrations. Wednesday will be at a luau hosted by Centennial Village. Friday will be at First Friday at the museum hosted by Spinard Jazz Festival. Other Juneteenth events, July 4th events, Bear Paw will be at the zoo. So we're trying to be in many areas of the city to get feedback from folks that is critical to our kind of operations on what we should focus on, assuming that we are able to expand into the future for either new routes or increased frequency or focusing on reliability. So again, we'll have a draft document late in the fall or early winter this year. We'll have a public comment period on that, where we'll ask a new survey of basically prioritizing that list so that we know what we should focus on first, second, third, fourth, just like the current document does. And then we'll publish the final version of the plan in hopefully before the spring of 2026. So we have our project website is part of the municipal website. Transitonthemove.com is how you can get to that. And there are a bunch of different sublinks and PDFs that you can pull up that basically say this either it exists in the current Totem 2020 document, or it's a new idea that we've heard of in the past 5 years from other community involvement events, from PTAB, from other community councils, from writer surveys, that where we could either redefine, realign, or kind of reallocate some of our current services or expand. So I'm just going to scroll through these quickly. There's some of them are ideas from an efficiency standard, some are ideas from an access standard to get more service in certain places. So our main website is again, transitonthemove.com, and we will be at a bunch of different events to get folks' opinions and kind of hear what the communities need from our transit services over the next few years. So come find us at an event, or you can take part in the survey online. And we would love to hear what the community needs and where our services can be provided for the next few years. And if Maria wants to add anything to that, please feel free. Sorry, I took a bunch of time.
Now I don't want to take up any more time. I just want pictures of our plant starts from everyone who has a plant. But yeah, we're excited for everybody to make sure they take the survey too.
Yes, we did. We ordered 500 little small plant starts, and I'll grab one right here. It's has a project website on it, and they've been pretty popular. And we are totally out of them, so we had to order more, thanks to a great turnout at the Chugach Electric member appreciation event this past Friday. Saw over 200 people there and talked with a lot of people. It was great.
Awesome. Thank you for that. I was going to say you should post your schedule because it sounds like just a lot of fun events people want to be at, but don't worry, it's on your website.
Yes, and thanks for the link on the agenda tonight as well.
Mm-hmm. Great. Any comments or questions from the BPAC members? No, I saw some thumbs up earlier. Any comments or questions from public members? Oh, easy. All right. Well, excited to have you guys kicking off and getting a lot of public comments and feedback. And it'll be good to have you kind of further down the line when any proposed revisions or opportunities are there on the new schedules or new routes and route changes and that kind of stuff. So thank you both for being here tonight.
Welcome.
All right. We'll move on to our last general information item. That's Neighborhood Greenways, which also has the project link. And I'll turn it over to Donovan. Welcome.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, Lindsay. And thank you to the BPAC for having me present on Neighborhood Greenways. Really excited project that we've been working on for a little while and rolling out this summer. I also have a quick slideshow. So let's see, is that coming through for folks? All right. So yeah, let's see if I, oh, well, just roll right on through here. Yeah, so Neighborhood Greenways, some folks are familiar with them if they've been to a few other cities. We have bicycle boulevards here in Anchorage, a few of them. But they are streets that are already calm, kind of a lower traffic count, and we're going to be looking for a lower operating speed. So they're places, neighborhood connections, where folks can walk and bike and roll that will kind of connect them through a network. A lot of these routes are already community favored routes. Many folks who have been biking or walking for purposes, utility reasons, know these routes across Anchorage. But maybe they know the ones in their neighborhood, but they don't know the ones on the other side of Anchorage, which they need to go to sometimes. So these treatments that we're doing along these routes will kind of highlight the well-connectedness of them and the lower stress feel of these streets. And the last thing is to note that in the Anchorage non-motorized plan, these were identified as enhanced shared use roadways, and there's quite a few roadways that plan recommends. Yeah, so the treatments, I mentioned a few of them earlier. We're going to be doing wayfinding along the routes. We'll see the basic bike route signs and some important trails. We're connecting a lot of the Greenbelt trails to schools and other destinations. And sharrows are going in right now. And then, of course, a really important aspect of the neighborhood greenways is traffic calming. We'll be lowering the speed limits down to 20 miles an hour and keeping a look, collecting data on these streets to make sure or to see what the data is coming back with as far as the speeds of these streets for vehicles. Anchorage does have its traffic calming program. And when we do lower these speeds to 20 miles an hour, it could potentially, we'll be kind of looking at a little bit lower speed. We're aiming for an operating speed around 20 miles an hour. So if we're seeing higher speeds, we'll be able to kind of reassess, and they would be good candidates for traffic calming. This includes speed and counts. Another treatment is reorienting stop signs. If a neighborhood greenway is going through a stop on an uncontrolled crossing for the other drivers, we will do a stop sign assessment and potentially make a four-way stop at that location to kind of keep those crossings a little bit safer for folks of all abilities or people who are biking with their kids who might have got ahead of them a little bit, those kinds of things. So those crossings are that much safer. And you'll see down the bottom left corner, we have our dead end signs. There's a ton of neighborhood streets that have really great connections to our Greenbelt trails. And they currently just say dead end. There's nothing that will tell you that there's a amazing pathway connection at the end of that street. And it kind of tells everyone there's nothing there with the dead end sign. So we're implementing some different treatments there. You'll see the accept bicycle and pedestrian signs there. So between the sharrows and the signs like that and wayfinding will unlock this network a little bit. Timeline. We've started putting these down this summer. In May, our paint and sign shop started going around. We had a little prioritization list of ones we wanted to see and kind of blocked them out in areas for paint sign to kind of easily do them. Although they're very dynamic, sometimes it can be raining in one side of the city and they're really good at just going over the other side of the city and painting over there. This winter we started with planning and getting which streets and networks we're going to do and design. And we had a fairly robust public involvement kind of throughout that time, involving going to community councils, having a website open. We used previous public involvement from our non-motorized plan. So this summer, we're really excited. It's looking at 14 different corridors across the city. It equates to about 14 miles of greenways across Anchorage. And right now, as I said, the sharrows are going down on the streets. So you'll see them you might have seen a few already. Signs are currently being made. We had a little delay in our materials shipping, but materials are here. And so sign shop's working on them, and we're looking at signage going out mid-June, starting then. We'll be continuing public involvement this summer and doing data collection on some of these streets, even before and after kind of data collection. So kind of excited to see how it shifts. And then ongoing, we'll be looking at these routes in a slightly different way than a regular neighborhood street or maybe collectors in some cases, looking at how much traffic do we want on these streets for vehicle traffic, and how are these being used, and what treatments are appropriate here. Here's a quick map. I know there's a lot of lines on here. It's a lot to take in. The bright green is our Greenbelt trails, our crowning laurel of Anchorage. And in blue, kind of the lower stress pathway. This isn't anything too official, but just lower stress separated pathways throughout Anchorage. So it's kind of the lower stress existing network across Anchorage. And then we have in bright kind of thick oranges, the neighborhood greenways. These are the ones that are going in this summer. So yeah, those are the 14 miles, and you'll see it's kind of bridging a lot of gaps, existing gaps. The other thing that this treatment is doing is kind of helping us suss out where a shared use roadway isn't quite appropriate, and more is needed for these gaps. I don't know if anyone can spot the big one on here down in kind of South Anchorage along the Moose Loop area on 88th. That was the gap we were initially looking at doing shared use treatments, but the traffic counts were just too high, the speeds were too high, and a shared use roadway just wasn't appropriate for a neighborhood greenway and all abilities users. So it's kind of identifying that gap as, okay, we tried neighborhood greenways here, but it was not appropriate. So we need to do something better to kind of bridge that gap. Really excited about 2 of these neighborhood greenways are actually going in on resurfacing projects, which means that we can kind of do them a little bit better. Instead of just paint, we have inlaid MMA, which is kind of like an inlaid plastic street marking, so they're have much more able to withstand wear and tear. And we're also implementing traffic calming on these 2 sections as they go in. So some speed cushions in both cases here for Forest Park Drive and Jewel Terrace Lane down there. And just to kind of dive into one of those a little bit more, this is what happened on Forest Park. We were able to send out mailers to kind of get the community informed. We sent out mailers to everyone in this kind of immediate Turnagain neighborhood here, and they had that map there, and the main map here was kind of one side of that mailer. This was a street that was a high priority as an enhanced shared use roadway. This program kind of elevated that, and we were able to get this project to put those treatments in kind of a little bit into the design phase on that. And you'll see some of our signage that we've been going with, kind of trying to get a little bit larger lettering and 2 coastal trail bicycle signs and things like that. So ample signage, indicator signage to kind of keep folks making sure that they're on the right path and so they know they're heading in the right direction. Yeah, and the continued public outreach, as I mentioned, we have our website up right now. It has an interactive map where it's ongoing. This summer's routes have been selected and are going through. You'll see on the kind of the map there, we have yellow. Those are the yellow lines on that map are kind of, they were secondary priority. They're kind of suggested routes that meet our criteria, but might have some gaps in the networks in some points. So we didn't go with them this year, but we'll be looking at them and other routes into the future. Yeah, we have more community council presentations to do. And yeah, we're putting our plan sets online. You can see down here, we have our kind of an example plan set. So those will be going up so neighborhoods can kind of see what the signage will look like, the 20-mile-an-hour branding, speed limit signs. And we're putting together mailers to go out to neighbors of those streets. We're kind of seeing them as our main constituents of these this project. So kind of getting folks informed on what a neighborhood greenway means. We've seen some cities where people really embrace that and kind of decorate their yards to maybe be a little bit more biking and themed, and like to make their gardens up a little bit better in that sense, kind of knowing that they're getting shown off a little bit. And yeah, so that was kind of hopefully a quick presentation, but here's a couple photos of our paint sign crews going out. They go out at night. You can see our stencil. We were able to get a few new stencils for this project. And yeah, a couple different photos here.
Lindsay, you're on mute.
Oh, I sure am. Go ahead, Diana. Thanks, Donovan.
I just wanted to say thank you. It's so great. It's really so great. And it happens so quickly. I feel like from idea to delivery and action, it's like really, really amazing, impressive. So thank you. It's exciting to see, and like all the people that commented on it and taking their suggestions and just getting out there and doing it. I'm so excited about Dual Terrace. That's great. And the big signs, the bigger fonts too. That's really important. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, we're pretty excited to be able to get 14 miles of kind of already great existing infrastructure that just kind of needs that little extra oomph to get it over the line to be, hey, here it is. Like, this is how we use it. Bikes can use the lanes, and people walking should feel a little bit more comfortable on these streets.
Awesome, thank you. Any other comments or questions from BPAC members? I'll just share, Donovan, when you were setting things up that, maybe you know which connections are in your part of town, but if you go to another part of town, you don't know how to navigate as safely. And it was reminding me of back in the day, we used to do Bike Fridays with Bike Anchorage, where it was trying to get people to take people on these like secondary routes and these little cut throughs. And it was all word of mouth and experiencing it together. So to make it official and that everybody will know and see opportunity for that, I think is really great. And it is something that I hope gets people feeling more comfortable getting around and not taking some of the more dangerous roads. Great. Any comments or questions from the public? Go ahead, Dave.
Hey, thanks, Donovan. I think this is really great. What is the maintenance plan on these sharrows?
Yeah, so we are going to be repainting these sharrows, the ones that are, they are just paint. So it will be kind of an annual event that we're doing. I don't think there's any particular changes to like the sweeping or winter maintenance. That's kind of part of the, the neighborhood greenways, is that these are already maintained neighborhood streets and they work fairly well. But yeah, it is going to be an ongoing treatments, and there's other projects that are coming down the line that we're kind of looking at, making sure that we're inlaying the sharrows, and then it's potentially something we might be looking for funding on, depending on kind of seeing how much we're having to repaint these, and is it worth it just going out and inlaying them. We have seen the ones on 10th Avenue. They tend to do fairly well. One thing you'll kind of notice is that drivers tend to go directly over the sharrows, which is excellent, so you don't get that tire wear. So yeah, will be some ongoing maintenance, and the program's slated for that.
Great, thank you. Thumbs up. Great. Any other comments or questions from the public? All right. Thank you so much, Donovan.
Okay, thanks.
And the team. I know a lot of people have to come together to make that happen, like Diana said, quickly and from start to finish. Okay, well, we are rolling through and we'll move on to committee comments. We're at the kind of end of our agenda and are just opening the floor for committee comments. So if any committee members want to share anything, let me know or come off mute. Go ahead, Diana.
I feel like I'm talking too much today, but I want to invite everyone on Thursday. There is a concert in the park series. The Anchorage Concert Association does these amazing concerts. And this one, it happens to be at the Fish Creek Trail. So it's Fish Creek, Kiwanis Fish Creek Park. It's this Thursday. It's an hour and a half. It's free. It's from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. And we will have there's a coalition of groups working on the Fish Creek Trail connection. It's an AMATS project, as you all know. But we will have, if you haven't signed the petition to support this trail getting completed, we'll have QR codes there and information and handouts about the next steps. So hope to see you at 7 p.m. listening to some music. There'll be food trucks. It's fun and it's free.
I love that. Food trucks, fun and free at Fish Creek Park. Great. Any other comments or questions from, or I guess comments from committee members? All right. Any comments from the public?
Hey, Lindsay, this is Mark Eisman.
Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
Just to let everybody know, there's a currently an ordinance going through planning, 2025-0030, to create a transit supportive development overlay, which will support the town centers and transit supported development corridors. And I'll drop a link in here. Just something you won't have, like, the committee won't have time to comment on it because I think comments close on the 17th. But just something you guys might want to be aware of. This will help. I think it's designed to help increase density of housing along the bus corridors. So that's all I got.
Thank you. Great, thanks. Thanks for the timeline too for comments. Any other comments from the public? Right, I'm not seeing any. And we still don't have quorum, so I'll just go ahead and move us forward. Our next meeting will be September 8th, which of course is when things start to get dark, and that's when we had the big uptick in pedestrian collisions and fatalities last year. So keep Vision Zero actions and urgency front and center while everyone moves on and enjoys summertime. But really appreciate everybody being here, giving these projects updates and being involved. So with that, I will adjourn us at 7:41 p.m. Thanks, everybody, and happy birthday, Aaron. I hope it was a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks. Good night, all.